All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're going to break down a huge challenge for big companies. How do you use powerful generative AI without, leaking all your company's secrets? And we're going to look at one solution in particular called AI Vault. Yeah, this is really the big question on everyone's mind, isn't it? How can you tap into the incredible power of these new AI models, but also make absolutely sure that your private, sensitive data stays private? Well, let's dive into how a system like AI Vault is designed to solve that exact problem. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at the core problem. Then we'll see AI Vault's really clever solution in action. After that, and this is super important, we'll get into the specific terms it uses for security. And finally, we'll see who actually has control over the system. Okay, first things first, let's really get into the heart of the problem here. For any big company, it's a classic case of risk versus reward. Look, we all know these tools are, well, they're transformative. But here's the catch. The second an employee pastes in a drafty email or a bit of internal code or some customer data, that information is flying out of your network and over to a third-party company. And for most enterprises, that's just a complete deal breaker. And this is where the two paths really diverge. On one hand, you've got the public tools where your data goes out the door and you lose control. But on the other hand, with something like AI Vault, you're flipping the script entirely. It's deployed inside your own private cloud. It's a lot like how Microsoft Exchange brought corporate email securely inside the company firewall all those years ago. You get all the power, but with total control. Okay, so how does it actually work? How do you build this fortress around your data? Well, the secret sauce here is a patented process called smart redaction. Let's see what that looks like. All right, check this out. This is a perfect real-world example of a prompt. And just look at it. It is loaded with sensitive stuff. You've got employee names, the company name, a specific address, and even a highly confidential project, the disposal of Coots Bank. This is exactly the kind of thing you can never let outside your walls. Now, this is the absolute key. Before that prompt even thinks about leaving the building, AI Vault steps in. This all happens right there, inside your secure system. It scans the text and automatically identifies every single one of those sensitive pieces of information based on rules that your company sets. And boom, look at the result. All of that critical information, the names, the bank, the address, it's just gone. It's been replaced with these totally random, meaningless strings of text. The structure of the sentence is still there, so the AI can understand the request, but the sensitive data has been completely scrubbed. And that's the whole magic trick right there. The original sensitive info, it never ever leaves your control. The AI model on the outside, whether it's from OpenAI or anyone else, it just sees this scrambled mess. It has zero idea what those redacted words mean. Okay, but here's where it gets really, really interesting. How does AI Vault know what's sensitive? It's not just a simple on-off switch. It's a whole layered system. And to understand it, we gotta get into the specific terms they use. It's all about granular control. So at the very top of the pyramid, you have what are called hypersensitive items. Seriously, think of these as the company's crown jewels. We're talking top secret project code names, major merger and acquisition details, the stuff that absolutely under no circumstances can get out. These are locked down tight and only a super user can manage them. Okay, take one step down and you get sensitive items. Now this is more of your day-to-day confidential stuff. Think client names, internal product names, things like that. They're managed by admins, and while they're redacted by default, a regular user can actually choose to unredact them if they need to for a specific task, so there's a bit more flexibility here. This next one is really cool because it empowers the individual user. They're called user-sensitive items. So imagine you're working on something brand new, and you know a term is sensitive, but it's not on the main list yet. You can flag it yourself for reduction. And what's clever is that this also submits the term to an admin for review, so it might become a permanent sensitive item for everyone. And last but not least, we have notable items. You can think of this as a super smart safety net. The system automatically uses something called named entity recognition to spot things that look like they might be sensitive, like names of people or places. It highlights them for you and gives you an easy one-click option to redact them. It's not forcing you, just giving you a helpful heads up. So this little chart really puts it all in perspective, right? You can see the 4 different levels, who's in charge of each one, and what makes each one special. You've got the super lockdown stuff at the top, and then more flexible and user-driven controls as you go down. It's this stack of defenses that makes the whole thing so robust. Okay, so we've got all these different ways to classify data. The next logical question is, who gets to control all this? Who holds the keys to the kingdom? And the answer is a really clear three-level system of permissions. It's pretty straightforward. You've got your super user at the top who can do everything. Below them, you've got admins who handle the daily management. And then you have the regular user who can run their queries securely. And this table makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? A regular user can do their job and run queries, but they can't touch the company-wide sensitive lists. An admin has more power over those lists, but even they can't touch those hypersensitive crown jewels. That is reserved only for the super user. It's all about making sure the right people have exactly the right level of access and no more. So when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway? AI Vault isn't just one little tool. It's a whole ecosystem for security. You get complete control, layers of data classification, a clear permission structure, and it's all built on patented tech that keeps your data where it belongs, with you. What this really does at the end of the day is it takes generative AI from being this big, scary security problem and turns it into a safe, powerful tool that you actually control. It lets you innovate without the risk. And that really leaves just one big, exciting question for you to think about. When you take that security risk completely off the table, what could your team, your company, finally go and build with AI?